The United States survives and they advances to the semifinals against the Dominican Republic. Welcome inside the palatial Studio K alongside Ryan Rowland-Smith. I'm Robert Flores. We're glad you're with us. Plenty of post-game coverage from Houston as we get you set for what should be a fantastic semifinal matchup between Team Dominican Republic and the United States. Yes. But, Ryan, it got a little tense and a little tight for Team USA late.
Yeah, you had that feeling they were going to be in complete control early. But there's just, we were talking about this before we came on air. You just feel like the U.S., they just haven't quite hit their stride, right? There's times where you feel like they can just run away with this thing.
Yes.
They got shut down by some lefties that no one's really seen. Tugboat, my favorite new nickname.
Exactly.
Ever. But no, you just feel like this has been more of a grind, and especially, too, against the team they're about to face, the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, we will show you those highlights. But let's begin with Team USA, Team Canada. These two countries have met on Olympic ice, now meeting on a WBC diamond. Here we go from Houston, the United States. They were the visiting team. First inning, Kyle Schwarber with a couple of men in scoring position. Coming into this game, the United States had left a tournament high 42 men on base. It's not a base hit, but it's a productive out.
Yeah, and up against Michael Soroka, too, who struggled to get into a rhythm his first outing. You felt like, man, they could do some serious damage even out the gates in that first inning.
Kyle Schwarber, a little squiver. Abraham Toro. The throw is offline, so it's an infield knock. Bases are loaded. Next batter, Alex Bregman. To his former teammate, Abraham Toro. Great stop. The throw, not so great.
I tell you what, though, watching this play back, if you let Aldo Lopez make this play who's right there, I think this is an out right here, and this changes the entire inning.
It's ruled a single and a throwing error, 2-run score, and it's 3-0 United States. Logan Webb was fantastic in 4 2/3.
Yeah, he was. And look, just like Soroka, too, took a little bit to get settled in, but against all these lefties, we talked about this coming into this game. The sinker and the changeup to some of these lefties, it was absolute kryptonite against this Canadian team.
You could make the argument that thus far in this tournament, Bryce Terang has been the United States' most valuable player. In the 6th inning, he comes through again.
Yeah, and just hits like this, right? Staying on that ball, that left-on-left matchup. Able to keep that front shoulder in, just drive it back up the middle, but it's still down the bottom of the lineup. And then this man, Pete Armstrong, hitting
the bottom of the order has been very productive for the United States. PCA a couple of nights ago, a Cup 2-homer game. Here he comes through with another RBI, and it's 5-0 United States. All right, bottom 6, Brad Keller, Tyler Black. He sends one the other way. Owen Casey scores. The Canadians are on the board. New pitcher comes in, the lefty Gabe Spire from the Seattle Mariners, facing Bo Naylor, and this one is launched.
Absolutely crushed. Left on left, 2-2. That breaking ball that you saw in 2025 had a nice little bounce back here. He was landing that pitch every time. They hung this to Bo Naylor, and all of a sudden, we've got a game.
That was the 10th home run allowed by Team USA pitching in this tournament. All right, 7th inning, David Bednar in trouble. You got runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Josh Naylor.
Yeah, goes 3-2, 97, middle of the play. Got a pitch to hit. Little off balance.
So that's out number 1. And then Tyler O'Neill gets him to go fishing. But the best AB against Bednar in this inning was put on by this man, Owen Casey.
It was a tough AB. Look, the one thing about Owen Casey, we had a chance to talk to him before the game. That last piece for him to be an established big leaguer, can he avoid the chase? That was a great at-bat.
Now we bring in Mason Miller. 3 outs to go. Mason Miller at 102 gets out number 1. The Canadians are down to their final 2 outs. But that is some devastating trio. Whitlock, Bednar, and then Mason Miller to get the final 2 outs. Gets Abraham Toro.
Yeah, it's something Team Canada just simply did not see in Pool A, especially when you hand the ball off to Mason Miller. And by the way, with that slider and then throwing 102 in middle of March, it's just unfair.
The United States hangs on, and much like their victory over Team Mexico, they jump out to a 5-0 lead and then have to hang on. Both teams each with 8 hits. The United States advances to Sunday's semifinal round in Miami against the high-powered and high-octane Dominican Republic. We will show you those highlights in a moment, but first, here is our JP Barossi with Aaron Judge.
Aaron, a lot of smiles and emotion in that handshake line. What did it feel like to now bring your team to the semifinal?
We're excited, but we got a lot of work to do still ahead of us. We got some good teams in the rest of the pool, but we're excited we took care of business here in Houston and excited to get to Miami and keep it going.
Even great teams have things to learn through adversity. What did you learn about your team here this week?
They can handle noise. Everyone's been talking, saying stuff. This team stay focused on the mission and what we need to accomplish, so we're going to keep taking care of our business, worry about ourselves, and we'll see you in Miami.
I thought during the course of the game, Aaron, the defensive positioning proved vital for you in the outfield, the infielders too. What does that say about your coaching staff that you have here?
They got us in the right spot. They're doing their homework, and I think one big thing is we're communicating. We're all talking to each other, and when we do that, good things are going to happen, especially with this ball club.
Finally, Aaron, Miami, the noise, the excitement, the Dominican Republic coming up. How excited are you about this weekend?
It's going to be great. It's going to be some great baseball back and forth, and looking forward to it.
Aaron, always appreciate your time. Great to have you as the captain. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Team USA has now won 5 straight games against Team Canada in this World Baseball Classic. This, as I said, it got, and as we saw in the highlights, it got intense in those final innings of this game. David Bednar, it got really wobbly for him, second and third, nobody out, but he was able to rally.
It did, and I keep going back to this, right? You go into a situation like this in the month of March, and you're working with someone in Cal Raleigh. Now, we saw that ball get away from Cal, so you're just a little bit unsure if you're David Bednar or if you're Cal as to what weapons to go with, especially this time of year, right? But we could see this all of a sudden. This is what Canada do. They're so scrappy. He gets it, and this is what I'm talking about right here with Cal Raleigh. Again, Cal, this is probably the first time he's seen him at game speed, and he gets this pop-up right here. Now you can take a little bit of a breath, and he goes to this breaking ball a lot. We didn't quite see the split until this at-bat. All of a sudden,
this was a great AB.
This was epic, man. You talk about Owen Casey, who's been really good. We talked about just not chasing some of these pitches. So he gets the split right there. He tries it. He's a little bit unsure about it. Hangs a breaking ball. Tries to climb the ladder a little bit. He's missing middle of the plate. Then he gets to a point where he can get to the top of the strike zone. Back to the breaking ball. Fastball fouls it off. And at that point, it's like, all right, now I need to get him out with the split. He goes split, curveball. Boom, split. And all of a sudden, it took him a little bit. It took him a good 15 to really get a good feel for some of those secondary pitches. Again, maybe the time of year or what have you, but, man, just staying in that at-bat the way he did against Owen Casey, that was good and a huge turning point in this game.
And as we mentioned, Logan Webb, in his 2 starts in this WBC, he's been everything that Team USA has needed and hoped for.
Yeah, and that's his bread and butter, right? A guy who can get to 2 strike counts so quickly. He can get that weak, ground ball, that soft contact. Dominated these lefties. You could just tell he was kind of running out of gas right there at the end of the 5th inning. D-Rose said he wanted to keep him around 65, 70.
Yeah.
Got to that point. Couldn't quite finish the 5th, but, man, he was good. Set that tone.
Yeah, 71 pitches. You've been in this, you have been on the big league mound. When you're David Bednar, as we take a look at Logan Webb and how effective he was, when you give up those 2 basically infield hits and you are in the soup, how do you get your mind to focus to realize, hey, I still got 3 big outs that I have to get. I'm going to have to rally here.
And you got the middle of the lineup too. And that's what I'm saying. He was going back and forth. Usually with David Bednar, I know he's got the 3 big weapons, but usually in that situation where you're only going to face a couple of hitters, it's like, all right, my split is working. That's going to be my out pitch. That's going to be my swing and miss. He was going curveball, slider. And it could be, again, I keep going back to this. You have a catcher who you're working with for the first time.
Yeah.
And so you're a little bit, you're waiting for him to give that pitch. And you're trying to figure it all out, but, man, he certainly did. Just took him a little bit, especially this time of year.
Well, it was a significant moment in the United States victory over Canada, and I believe we are joined by David Bednar, United States relief pitcher, and he joins us now. David, congratulations on the win. Just take us through what must have been going through your mind. You give up those 2 basically infield singles, and you are in the thick of a big, giant mess. How were you able to rally?
Man, just finding a way and trusting what Cal was putting down and just going right after guys. And like I said, just bearing down, finding a way.
David, I was just talking about that with Cal. I mean, that's pretty much a game speed the first time you probably had him 60 feet away. What's it been like trying to get, that to be on the same page as he catches the first time working with someone like Cal?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one thing about these guys. Cal and Will have been great to work with, and just getting on the same page really quick. And honestly, I think just developing that trust as soon as you can is huge.
David, I mentioned that D-Row has had yourself, had Garrett Whitlock, and then, of course, Mason Miller to close it out. What is it like to be a part of a bullpen with so many options and weapons?
Man, it's impressive down there. You're just kind of looking around, and there's no shortage of arms, and it's a whole lot of fun to play with these guys.
David, the other part of this is too, I mean, obviously, being a big leaguer for a long time, you have some of that prep. You go into a series, right, a 3 or 4 game series, you have those meetings, but this is so different because it's one game, it's tournament style. How do you guys prep? You mentioned some of the names down in the bullpen. How does everyone prep in regards to the bullpen and some of your coaches?
I think it's just about staying ready, and whenever the phone rings, everybody's ready to roll, and just everybody has a lot of trust in whoever's name's called.
David, looking ahead, Sunday night in Miami, taking on the Dominican Republic, a team that has been very impressive thus far in this World Baseball Classic. Just your thoughts on the prospects of facing them Sunday night.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a really good team, but so are we. So definitely looking forward to it, and looking forward to get Miami and get this thing going.
David, how fun has this been? Man, we've heard from different guys. We heard from Logan Webb, you know, how he was essentially recruited. Obviously, everyone has their own little recruiting story, but how fun has this been, this experience, taking on the World Baseball Classic, wearing Team USA across your chest at this time of year especially?
I can't say enough about how special this is and just how awesome of a group this was. And you know, I was fortunate enough to do this in 23, and so whenever I got the call to do it again, it was an absolute no-brainer. And like I said, I can't say enough to how good of a group this is and how quickly we've all gelled. And you know, it's been such a special experience.
David Bednar, 3 scoreless innings thus far in the World Baseball Classic. David, maybe they'll play a little renegade for you in Miami.
Yes, sir.
Against the DR.
Heck yeah, I love it.
All right, we appreciate the time, David. Congratulations and good luck Sunday.